Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another... Wait, nope, that's the wrong one. To episode 101. Episode 101 of the 40k Badcast. You know what? This is the second time I've fucked up this intro, but we're keeping this one, Campbell.
Yeah, no, that's a sign. It's a sign. Third time's the charm. Yeah, no, third time's the boring, obvious answer. Like, no, we're gonna go with the second time because that's, if in some ways worse than the first go, but still pretty all right. No, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have it.
Well, my name is Dan Boyd, of course, and I am joined, as always, by Crackpot McLunatic. Crackpot, how are you feeling? Ooh,
better.
Ooh, I don't have any alcohol in the house right now.
Oh, I never let that problem come to pass. No, I'm doing. You know what? I'm having a real one, but not as real a one as many in the Warhammer community.
All right. Well, before we begin, the name I chose for you for the name game this episode, Crackpot McLunatic. I have a question I want to ask you, and it's which one of us is more of a crackpot?
Oh, all right. Well, that depends on what's the definition of crackpot in this instance?
We're not doing fucking semantics. God, I hate nerds. Oh, I fucking hate semantics. I hate the fucking well, what's the precise definition of this before we have a conversation? No, just fucking feel it out, man.
Words have meaning, Dan.
Words are nothing. Words are loud air.
All right, well, you know what? You're the crackpot because you have the most loud air coming out of you right now.
You know what? It's right. It's true. I can't even argue with this.
And I am the McLunatic. It's fine.
Yes. Okay. Well, it's been more than a month since we've recorded one of our regular episodes, which is why we're so bad at it right now. And here
we have an excuse.
Here is a whole list of reasons as to why. One, I went on vacation at the end of July. It was funny. You messaged me and you're like, hey, should we record this week? And I was like, yeah, I'm going on vacation next week. And then we never recorded. I don't know what happened. I think it was just, I was focused on getting all my stuff done and making sure I could go on this vacation. And you probably had your own things to focus on.
I do. I can get to those if you feel like it.
Yeah. Well, after I came back, it turned out one of my cats, Pig, had gotten sick, and she unfortunately died that week. She had bladder cancer. She couldn't. The tumors in her bladder had made it so she couldn't really pee anymore. And her kidneys had started to shut down. So unfortunately, she did pass away in one of the worst days of my life, right up there with when my mom died. And that was a real tough one. That whole week was really, really bad. So because of that, because of me frequently going to different animal hospitals and veterinary clinics, and the fact that I just didn't feel good and didn't enjoy life that week, we did not record that week after I got back from vacation.
Right.
And then the week after that, I hurt my back at the gym.
Yeah, you did. And you're just like, I can't sit in a chair right now, so I can't be funny. And I'm like, cool, don't really need to, as intimate as it would be to record from your bed, I don't think it would have the best audio quality.
No. So what had happened was, this was Wednesday. We recorded our bonus episode for July because we were late on that on Tuesday. And that's out now, I think, right?
Yeah, that is out, yeah.
Okay, good. That's good. On Wednesday morning, I went to the gym, right? And this was like, all right, I've been on vacation for a week. The week before, I didn't really get to work out because I was constantly going to veterinary appointments and worrying about the cat and stuff. And so I was kind of skipped it there. And so I go back on Wednesday. I'm like, all right, here we go. Having a good workout. This is going to be great. And 40 minutes into the workout, I pulled a muscle in my lower back.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and it was bad. It was a bad one. It still hurts. This is more than a week later. This is 8 days later. It's still hurting. Not like it's not really bad anymore. I'm fine. It's just like a little bit of a twinge whenever I step with my right leg, which I have to do quite a bit normally. So I'm just waiting for it to go down. But for the first 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, I was literally bedridden. I couldn't stand up for more than 30, 40 seconds at a time on Wednesday. I just had to lie down. in a position that felt okay for my back. It was. I went to the doctor, and I don't have any structural damage. It's just a pulled muscle. I'm not one of the 44% of Americans who don't go to the doctor when they get sick or get hurt, which is to say I'm not a fucking idiot. But I'm going to be fine. It's just the kind of thing where I have stretches, I have strength exercises, I've got stuff to do to get back into quote unquote fighting shape. And that is what has happened to me. I got to tell you, man, having a pet pass away is one of the hardest things. We did the
Petcast.
We did the Petcast a while ago, so many of our listeners are familiar with Pig and the story with her. But we did the home euthanasia with her. Instead of, going to a veterinary clinic or animal hospital to have her put down, we had a doctor come here, and we did it in the couch here in the basement, and it was brutal. It was almost unimaginably difficult to do, but the poor thing, she was dying. Her quality of life was not like unbearable yet, because she wasn't like super sick, but her kidneys were failing. And when kidneys fail in any mammal, at least, or I guess birds too, whatever. I don't know anything about fish. So
any kidney haver.
Don't fucking at me about fish. Do fish even have kidneys? Who cares? When the kidneys fail, then all your organs will fail pretty quickly after that. So her kidneys were failing at that point because she couldn't get enough pee out, and the pee was literally backing up. And she would, every 5-10 minutes, she'd go to the litter box and stand there for 2 to 5 minutes trying to pee, and only a tiny bit would come out. So I don't think she was in a ton of pain yet, but it would have gotten bad pretty quickly. Yeah, so we did the home euthanasia, man, and I think it was the way to go, because I didn't want to inflict another car ride on her, and I definitely didn't want to bring her to like a scary place, and for her last few moments. But man, that was a tough damn thing to do.
Yeah, no, it was. I've been there too, like fairly recently. Only it was like, I don't know, a year and a half ago when we had a similar situation with our cat Toby, and I feel like it's something I wish we touched on with the Petcast just a little bit, just because like taking care of a pet and seeing them off that way is part of the contract you sign when you adopt a pet.
Yeah,
and I think we should have touched on it at least a little bit without getting like too far into bummer territory, just because like it's one of the hardest decisions you'll ever make. And it's it's a no-win, but it's what can you do best? What can you do that's the best and most compassionate thing for your little friend?
Right, and that's what I wanted to do. I mean, it certainly wasn't an easy thing to do, and I don't ever want to do it again. But I'm gonna do it at least 2 more times, because we still have 2 cats here at the house. So I mean, I should say, if I'm lucky enough to do it 2 more times. Yeah, because this is honestly, I think, the best way to say goodbye to your pet.
Which is, again, couching that in a big way. Like, that doesn't mean it's a fun way.
No.
I just feel like, as awful as that time is, it is paid for a million times over from the hopefully years and years of love and enjoyment you get from any given pet you adopt.
Yeah, I had Pig for 11 years. Yeah. So, it was she was with me for good and bad times, and it was a great friendship we had together. And I like to remember those nice things about her. I will say, it took me. It was difficult to get past the like having her put to sleep. Like just that was in my brain for. I mean, it still is, right?
Yeah,
but
course.
like for the couple days after, man, I was just a complete emotional wreck, because I couldn't stop like reliving those moments in my head. So pretty traumatic. But I'm doing a little bit better now. We got the urn here, had her cremated, and we've ordered a couple of pictures to be printed, so we can have some nice memories, some happy pictures around the house to look at her and think of her.
I mean, we have, after Toby died, we commissioned a local tattoo artist who has done work on both Anna and I to do portraits of Smeep, Numi, and Toby, and they go together in a nice little trio of kitties, and it's a sweet way to memorialize the loving relationship you had with that critter.
Yeah, I think you've shown me those a couple times.
Yeah, I've definitely posted them here or there or somewhere else. But
They're beautiful. They're beautiful images. Okay, so that has been my absence history. So what about you, Campbell? It's been a month since we recorded, a little bit more. Yeah. What about you? What's been going on in your life?
Yeah, nothing quite as harsh. Yeah, I was going to go see my folks, but then Delta variant makes that maybe not going into a bunch of airports and public transit when I have immunocompromised people I care about on both sides of the trip. I don't think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to cancel that one, but we did host some friends for a week before that. So that's why I had to skip a week where I think it was like the perfect week where we like between horrible things happening where it would have been a perfect fit. And then, oh, well, I'm all tied up for that.
Yeah.
That's been most of it, honestly. And I've been doing some freelance work. So I've at least, been doing some other stuff. But yeah, honestly, my life right now is kind of, in flux. Real time is a flat circle. Don't know what day it is. I thought it was Wednesday. I'm actually amazed I was only off by one day.
No, we're recording on Thursday, the 19th of August.
Thursdays are our normal recording day, so I'm getting back into it.
I always love telling the listeners when we record.
Yeah, I do too. And the real sweet Easter egg that in one of the Torco Borcos we recorded maybe in the future from now, that'll help you find out exactly what day we recorded on. Although
I can't remember if it's October or November, but you'll be able to figure it out if you're smart.
That's like keep it if you're a Torco Borco or a Porco enjoyer, keep your ears open for the sounds of my cat Numi yelling into the microphone because she's on there, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and just so the listeners are reminded, Torco Borco Raporco is our Taco Bell review podcast that we do on our Patreon, which you can find at patreon.com/40k Badcast.
Yeah, why thank you. You see, you just rattled that right off. It's like we didn't miss a single beat.
It's like we didn't miss a single beat. All right, so we've had some bad news, Campbell. How about some good news?
Well, the good news for me is pretty much first and foremost that I'm recording with you today.
Hey.
Because I have missed this a fuckload. Like, not just because I enjoy putting out content for our listeners and all that stuff, but because I like chatting with my buddy. And it's good to catch up, even if it isn't all good news.
Even when I'm shouting about semantics?
I will take you shouting about semantics over most things that people shout about in public around here. So yeah, I'll gladly accept that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I know you're chatting about semantics out of love and friendship, and I don't want to say respect, but not contempt. How about that?
Okay. It's not contempt. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Well, not contempt for you, I should say.
Right. That's the thing. As long as I'm not the target, who gives a shit?
Right. Okay.
But yeah, other than that, though, I've been, as we'll get into with the aspects, I have been living an extremely hammy lifestyle in a rather enjoyable way.
You're having the summer of George over there, which I'm, did we already talk about this?
We did.
And I had to explain this reference to you.
Yeah, I think we did it in our August, July bonus episode.
Yeah.
The summer of George, because I used to have a coworker who would say he was taking the summer of John, which just meant he would say he was going to relaxing summer and would work 60 hours a week anyway. But for me, where I am currently betwixt jobs and also with plenty of free time on my hands, I'm having a pretty okay time, all things considered.
I'm glad to hear it. I have one more bit of good news before we get into the rest of the show.
Okay.
Oh, and my stupid monitor's just shut off.
Yay.
Because of not enough activity. All right, one more. They're back. I didn't have to type my password, thankfully. I caught it. All right. One more bit of good news. In early June, we learned, Danielle and I, that she is pregnant.
What the fuck, dude?
Yes.
You've known this for 2 months?
Well, okay. Well, I'll get to that in a second. She is pregnant. We are going to have a child in February.
Hell yeah.
Which will probably necessitate a break in the show for a little bit as I welcome my newborn child into the world.
Oh my fucking God. Dad Boyd here. Dad Boyd the second, actually.
Yes, the 40k Badcast will become the 40k Dadcast, at least for half of us. In February. So listeners, anticipate that with the show. There will be a little bit of break in the new year, but we'll get back into it when I have figured out how to live with a baby.
Okay. Well, Dan, first of all, congratulations to the both of you.
Thank you.
Second of all, I do appreciate that you've known this for a while and waited until we recorded so you get a live react from me. So I appreciate that bit too. That's some good showmanship. Third of all, it may only be the dadcast for half of us, but I have it on good authority that for many relationships, only one person in it is the dad.
It's true.
Not all, certainly not all, but for many.
So I have not been telling people about this. We told like my dad, my brother, and then my wife's family and stuff early on in the whole thing. But early on in pregnancies, it's not. They're not sure things.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was not going to make an announcement until we were within the second trimester. And she's going to be 14 weeks tomorrow. So we are within, the first week of the first or second week of the second trimester here, which is when I felt it would be safe to let people know that we are pregnant and expecting a child. Here's the thing. Earlier this week, I made a Photoshop for her so she could do a Facebook announcement with a funny Photoshop involved. It was Bob Ross painting, and I switched out the easel, that he's painting his wildlife scene on,
right,
with the ultrasound photo, and did the quote, "There's no such thing as mistakes, we only make happy accidents." And then I had him say, and I'll put a happy little baby right here. Very cute, very fun. So I made that for her so she could go on Facebook and announce it to everybody. But here's the thing, Campbell, you're her friend on Facebook.
I am.
So she had to unfriend you so I could get the live reaction of you reacting with complete surprise to the news here on the show.
It's a good thing I don't actually check my Facebook that often, because I always be like, why'd she unfriend me? What did I say? What did I do? I don't even post here.
Yeah. So after this, I'll instruct her to refriend you on Facebook.
Okay, good.
But that was the commitment level to the bit that I was willing to put in.
If you're not committing to the bit, don't even fucking bother. Yeah, no, I appreciate your professionalism.
That's the number one rule I'll be teaching my child, is always commit to the bit.
Yep. Your child, whose name will be Corvus Corax Boyd, right?
We'll see about that.
Or Principal Emperor Boyd. Sorry, Principal the Emperor
Principal
Boyd.
the Emperor. Or what was the other one? The whole ass Emperor or something?
The whole fucking Emperor, or the entire fucking Emperor, all caps. That's good too.
Yeah. So February gang, we'll probably take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, you could go with Inquisitor Cool Hat if you wanted a non-gendered name.
Oh, I can't. Oh, yes. Okay. Listeners, please write in and give me name suggestions.
And here's the thing. Worst case scenario. Actually, you know what? I'm breaking out the D6s in a dice table here.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me just a moment to find the actual important stuff from my bookshelf here.
Random name generation.
If you don't here's the thing. You're either going to randomly name generate your child's name, or you're going to name them Turok, like that one couple did to get an Xbox in 2002. Okay. Oh, fuck, I don't have a D20 on me.
Oh, a D20? What is this?
Hey, all right, you know what? I'm going to roll 2d6, and that's just what it's going to be.
That's just, yeah.
So, let's see, a 7, and the second die roll is an 11. Oh, fuck, I don't have that. All right, so their name is... Their name is Stairwind Boyd. There's your child's name.
Stairwind. I like that.
Stairwind. I mean, if you wanted to, you could go for something a bit more Christian, such as Blade Puke Boyd. Listen, the Realm of Chaos name generator table is incredible.
Okay, is this Stairwind like stairs that you walk up and down, or Stairwind as in the stair as in looking?
Stare as in your eyes, not as in the kind you have in your house.
Okay. So stare. I'm not opposed to it. I like the unisex names.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Stairwind.
Well,
you know what? I'll ring that up to the boss and see what she thinks. How about that?
All right, yeah, please do. And if not, I can definitely roll up another one. I'm sure she would love if her child was named Crab Drool.
Crab Drool. Oh, that's even better. That that would have been a good name for you.
Oh, it super would, but keeping that one in the hopper.
Yeah. So maybe if you nerds out there can think of some funny names for the kid, maybe we'll do a segment on funny names.
Yeah, that works. I like it. I like community engagement.
Yeah.
Not just because it's easy content.
It's the easiest kind of content. Okay, well, let's actually get into the show here. We're 20 minutes into the recording, which honestly feels like that's too short for all the stuff that we've gone over.
Yeah, no shit.
But it's good to, I think, we talked about some kind of sad stuff in there, but it's good to end on a high note with our intro bullshit. So I'm happy about that. And your reaction to the whole thing it was just completely joyous, and I love that.
So I'm extremely happy for you. I'll be honest. I was talking to our friend Rob recently, and his Skype connection, Discord connection is garbage. Mm-hmm. So he just said, "Oh, Campbell, by the way, is pregnant," and I'm just like, "Oh," and I thought he said Greg, our mutual friend Greg, and I was like, "Oh, you mean he's Gregnant?" And Rob's like, okay, they'll tell you. Whoever they are, they'll tell you. And I'm like, someone I know is pregnant. Okay. So I'm like, who could it be? And man, I'm happy it's you. I'm extremely happy for the two of you.
Yeah.
Three of you, I guess now.
Now I got to ask Rob why he's telling my shit to you, huh?
Yeah, right.
Come on, Rob.
Won't even let us put cum on the objective markers.
I don't even know if he was talking about me. I did ask him not to tell anybody, though, so okay. I might have to clear that up.
All right.
Well, Gregnant or not, Campbell, we got to move on with the show. Let's get into the aspects where we talk about our hobby, radar, and what's on it. There we go. Hobby progress. Okay, I'm going to start, as is tradition.
Okay.
I'm working on 5 assault intercessors for New Orleans, which I'm going to say is kind of up in the air for whether or not I'm going to go. I really fucking want to.
Yep.
But if our wonderful country can't get their shit together enough to get this Delta variant under control, it might not be a trip I make.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat, which bums me the fuck out.
Yeah, but I'm still going to work on models, leading up to it and go with the null hypothesis is that I'm still going. So I'm working on 5 assault intercessors. The reason being I have made my list for NOLA, what I think is going to be my list. So I need to get these intercessors done, and then I'm ready.
Nice.
I'm almost done with them. I'm just getting through base coats here. We'll get into highlights probably this week, or if not tonight, maybe. So I'm moving in on those. They're actually painting up pretty quick. These are the Indomitus box assault intercessors. They look fantastic. I love the sculpts. They're some of these as in parlance monopose models. They have those little gaps that are filled. You know what I'm talking about? Like one of them, his sword hilt runs into the pouch behind it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Which these monopose models, it's part of the thing. Because you're not putting individual chain swords on these bodies. They just come with them. So there's a couple of instances of that in here, but a lot fewer than there used to be.
Oh yeah,
not so bad. I was like trying to figure out what the best list to bring for the New Orleans event, and assault intercessors. I just like them so much.
They're a ton of fun, and they're pretty damn effective in my experience.
Yeah, I like the idea that they can really shift probably another troops unit off an objective. They're not going to do crazy damage against something that's really good in combat, but if they're going up against, say, orcs or another unit Marines or something, they can put out a lot of attacks and maybe even get some character support to do even better.
Nice.
So this weekend, I am going out to Rockville, Maryland to participate in a terrain building day for the Goonhammer Open.
Nice.
Which I think is scheduled for Labor Day, which is going to go off as far as I can tell. The coronavirus stuff here in the DC area isn't nearly as dire as it is in other places around the country. But this is definitely an event. It's a smaller event than the New Orleans thing for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's definitely going to be a mask wearing time, you know?
Yep.
Even if literally everybody is vaccinated, I think that's really the only way to go.
It's the smartest thing to do at this particular juncture for sure.
But this will be an outside terrain building thing. We are building terrain for the tournament at GHO. And apparently it takes a while to build this MDF terrain that comes painted. So it's not like we have to build it and then paint it. So we've got a crew of about 10 people meeting up there to knock out some terrain. I'm excited to hang out. Last couple of weeks, I haven't really hung out with anyone because of the various injuries and sorrows. So it'll be nice just to see some nerds for a day and hang out and do some stuff. But that's it for hobby progress for me, Campbell. So tell me, blow me away with how much you've been able to do within the last month.
Yeah, you better hold on to your socks lest they get blown off.
I'm gonna strap in.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, strap in, strap on, and get ready. I have painted most of the Dominion set, the Stormcast half anyway. I was able to sell off the Cruel Boys since they're not really my bag, as we've talked about on the show many times.
Yeah.
I start with the 10 Stormcast Vindictors, who are the Spearmen.
Yep.
I will say batch painting 10 models that fit on 40 millimeter bases that are roughly Terminator sized is a bad idea, and I recommend you don't do it.
Oh, did you paint all 10 at once?
Yeah.
Oh, you dumbass.
Well, I was like, the process I had for them is quicker than it is for like my Ultramarines, where it's like I'm doing like mostly like dry brushing and like very light highlighting, and I'm doing a lot of recess shading and all that stuff, but it took for fucking ever. That being said, they are done. I love how they came out, and I was able to move on from them and keep hitting it. So I built and painted the easy to build Stormcast Sequitors, which is the trio where you've got like the lady with the cool haircut and who's holding the shield.
Yeah.
They were nice and easy, great time. Gotta find 2 more because they're not a legal unit. Because easy to build boxes care not for things such as rules.
Right.
I painted the Lord Imperatant, who's the dude in the Dominion box set with the beard, hammer, and stick.
This is not the Lord Impertinent, who's just kind of shitty all the time.
No, and the Lord Incontinent, who is never not shitting. He's actually their artillery piece. I'll let you think on that one. Real storm strike from this guy.
Shit.
But yeah, this Lord Imperatant, I wasn't really wild about him, but he really grew on me as I was painting him.
Yeah.
But what I did enjoy painting even more was his little Griffhound companion. I love painting little animals. They're fun, like little pets. Like there aren't enough pets in Warhammer. I'm glad they're leaning into it more. And he was a nice little change of pace. And then I painted up the Knight Arcanum, who's the wizard lady from the Dominion set.
Okay.
I was going to give her the mask head because it's like the only helmeted head that is objectively cooler than the unhelmeted head.
It's sick. It's sick as hell.
I think I was drunk when I built her because I didn't notice I gave her the wrong head until I was painting her. And also as I was painting her, I realized that one of her sleeves wasn't glued together and didn't fit together properly. So with the model already primed and partially painted, I had to carve away parts of it. Tweezer shut the sleeve halves till they glued, then green stuff over the gap, then filled the green stuff gap with like chunks of paint until it finally smoothed out.
Oh my God, Campbell.
You couldn't quite tell how bad I fucked up now, but I fucked up bad.
Wow.
Then I painted up the 3 Praetors, who are the guys with the halberds and capes.
Yep,
and
love those.
I'm currently working on Annihilators, the big chunguses in the box set.
Nice. Those are some of the, I think, best Stormcast models they've come out with so far.
Yeah, I'd say they're the best helmeted. I don't like their unhelmeted heads very much because they've got these like weird metal cheekbones that look really goofy to me. But I'm working on those guys right now with the helmets, and I'm happy with them so far.
Yeah, you've done a great job here with the armor, the verdigris. Yeah. I think it took you a little while to figure that recipe out, but you've really nailed it.
Yeah, I found that by layering verdigris layers with like a darker turquoise than a lighter turquoise, it looks a little more realistic, gives it a little bit more depth, and gives it a bit more color variation. I found that is a really nice way to make it look realistic and pretty.
I mean, I feel like your Stormcast, like, can't Sigmar just like give them some polish?
You'd think that.
He's like Sigmar. He's like a big, powerful god figure, right?
Yeah, he super is. But it's like the whole thing about how when they get reforged, they don't always come back the same way. They don't always come back with all of themselves intact. I feel like you can kind of extend that physically to the models themselves.
Okay. No, I get that, but like, come on, man, just a little bit of polish, and like take care of your armor, maybe, guys.
Get it together, Suckmar.
Have you managed to finish anything else?
No, those 19 models are all I've painted in the last month.
Well, that's pretty good.
Oh, and I bought a Repulsor Executioner.
Oh, okay, finally.
Yeah, now I've got a Repulsor Executioner.
They're so good right now.
I got a Rep-X and an Impulsor in the closet. Now that their time has come and gone, no one will see them coming.
The time of the Impulsor is still right now. Impulsor fucking rips. Don't get it twisted. I use my Impulsor almost every game.
Well, they don't have their 4-up invuln anymore, just a 5-up.
Yeah, but it's still the number one way to get Blade Guard into combat without getting Blade Guard shot to shit.
Yep, which is understandable, and I want to do that because I have Blade Guard.
Yes. Good thinking.
Yeah.
Good thinking. I wonder who may have suggested this to you months ago.
I imagine this idea just burst forth from my head, fully formed like Athena from Zeus. That's my only explanation I can think of.
All right. Have you played any games?
I've played so many games.
Oh, God.
I'll try to keep it quick.
Okay.
Got in a game with Cassidy, his orcs versus Meltras.
Cassidy the Irish vampire.
Yes. the weirdly outdoorsy Irish vampire.
I mean, you can go outdoors at night.
That's true. I guess I haven't seen. I
mean, just because you don't go outdoors at night doesn't mean that people can't go outdoors.
Dude, I live in the desert. Of course I go outside at night. It's the only time it's hospitable out there. Except when the air quality is in the 450s, which it was this week.
450. Wait, is high number bad or is low
high number very bad?
Okay.
The air quality index of 455 is straight up like toxic. Like limit your time outdoors. It smelled like being inside a wood smoker.
Here in the DC area, the only air quality we really care about is humidity.
Yeah, here we don't got that. We just have
and it's
forest
always
fires. And our forest fires are similarly always.
Oh, that's worse than humidity though.
Yeah, it was raining ash. Like I thought there were like bugs flying around my headlights. No, there was just ash falling from the sky.
Okay, so things that are good for it to be raining. Men. Mm-hmm. That's number one.
Yeah,
men.
First and foremost is men, yes.
Then water, I would say. Mm-hmm. Then blood. Uh-huh. I mean, I'm not a fan of Slayer anymore, really, but Rain and Blood is still a pretty fucking good album.
Yeah, no, you can still fully do that. I'd also say
I can appreciate Rain and Blood as a product of its time.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Even though Slayer is a bunch of fucking, charlatans.
I think fourth place would definitely be Raining Junk Food, as in the film Shazam.
Oh, I was gonna say Meatballs is up there.
Okay, yeah. I'd say Meatballs is probably a 5 because
I haven't had a meatball sub in ages, my guy. That's my favorite sandwich. What am I doing with my life?
I have no fucking idea. No fucking idea.
I just got like legitimately mad at myself because I haven't had fucking meatballs.
Get thyself to a deli, months. My dude.
Yeah. Oh my God. I got to get a meatball sub. I'll get one tomorrow for lunch. Fuck.
Hell yeah.
Friday.
Hell yeah.
Okay. And then I was going to say near the bottom of the list is ash.
Okay. Yeah.
And like under that is like volcanic ash.
I was going to say under that is ash. Below that is ass. Raining ass out there.
I don't know, buddy. If it was raining ass out there, I think a bunch of our listeners would be out in the street with their mouths open. The grody ass Badcast listeners, fucking horn dogs out there.
Horn dogs to the last.
Okay.
All right. So this first game I got was the last game against the old Orc Codex.
Last
game. And I'm going to
have the Orc Codex?
The new one, yeah. I do.
I thought it only came in that box.
Yeah. My Cassidy got 3 of that box through various means, and I got one of his codexes.
Okay. Yeah, because it's not out yet. It came out in the box, and it's not coming out until September. But it came out last month or early this month in the box.
We're having a long October this year, right?
I guess the date of October moves around the calendar every year, huh?
It wogs its way from month to month, yeah. And I'll love with you. This last game against the Old Orc Codex was ugly. He took a pretty solid orc list: boys, mob, knobs and wagon, grots, ludas, KFF, mech, war boss, that typical stuff. I took a general marine list, basically just going for all my new toys. So heavy intercessors, tech marine, Claudio, Xanax, Dread, Lieutenant, ATV, Outriders, whatever.
Fucking Claudio, Xanax.
Right off the bat, I basically blew up all his transports, camped 4 out of 5 objectives. He advanced up with his army. I informed him he can't charge after advancing. He goes, "Oh man," and I just said, "You can take it back if you want." And he politely declined and said he had to learn somehow.
But wait, what about the WOG? Can't you advance and charge?
When you call a WOG in the 9th edition book, yeah. This was just turn 1 moving up.
Oh.
Yeah, I promptly murdered the rest of his orcs in a series of war crimes I won't recount further, and I had a 94-3 victory.
Oh man, you are just all sorts of just owning the casual meta up there in Oregon.
That's what I do until I don't. Next up, Modern Games, which is my local game store, started doing Miniatures Gaming Mondays. So I went there for their first one, which was just supposed to be a meet and greet, but like a dozen people showed up.
Oh, cool.
And I got 2v2 game in with my Ultras and this guy Q's Nids versus Chris's Alpha Legion and Geb's Necrons. It only went for 3 turns, but it was a good time. A lot of learning to be had. It was possibly the most casual game I've ever played, like full on. One step above using power level, like people with the rules from their boxes of models, open play deck, the whole shebang. It was a wild little experience, but you know what? Got to meet some folks, and that was cool.
This is Modern English Games in Bend, Oregon?
Yes. It is.
Yeah, Campbell, don't forget about them.
Yeah, well,
where is it? Where's my fucking sound effect?
Nice.
Solid. Yeah, I wish I had a melt with you joke to follow that up with, but I can't force myself into jamming that square peg in a round hole. Not just, like, glad they had the AC on, or else I'd be melting with them.
Nice.
Sure, give me that one. I don't deserve it. And I've been just going there every Monday, and it's been fantastic to have like a regular gaming day outside of my house. Just like for the first time since I don't know.
Do they have beer?
Yes, they do. They have a draft line. I basically get 1 or 2 beers every time I'm there just to support the store while I game there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's swell. So
hey man, I just went to their website. I did. Okay, so the Modern English joke came from my brain, my extremely good brain. But I did remember that it was Modern Games. I just want to point that out there, that I made the joke, but I remembered the name of it because I'm extremely intelligent human.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
My IQ is in the high single digits for sure.
Well, it's golf. It's golf scores.
Golf scores. Yeah, you want low IQ. Yeah. I'm looking at this wall of games they have here on their pictures, and I can see one game that I actually have. It's called Cat Lady.
Oh, okay, I thought you could see Wingspan.
I can't see Wingspan, but I can see Cat Lady. Cat Lady rules, by the way.
Yeah, they don't have a huge 40k selection like gaming, like a Warhammer selection, but they've got a bit.
They got terrain or what?
Yeah, they got probably 2.5 tables worth of terrain. With like fat mats down and everything.
Yeah.
And they're like 4x6 tables. Like it's a pretty solid little area to game on. And they've got some spillover space for like all sorts of other stuff. So yeah.
Modern Games.
I followed it up the week after with game against the new Orcs Codex.
Is a beautiful game store. I'm I'm fucked up over here.
Yeah, it's like really well lit. It's very comfortable. It's not huge, but it's not tiny. Everything in there's got room to breathe. The stocks aren't like overstocked. You can actually find shit on the shelves. Like it is a very pleasant shopping experience. They got beer, they got coffee, they got some snacks. Yeah, I've got no complaints about the store side. I wish it had enough terrain for like 2 more tables, just so when you have more than 2 games going, there isn't like people scrounging around. But
you could bring your own terrain.
I was told I can't. because someone
Okay.
did. They asked us not to.
Okay.
Keeping that one in the back of my pocket.
Okay.
So I was there again for a game against Cassidy with the new Orcs Codex. And it was his first time using it, which means there's a lot of like rules bleed because a lot more changed than I thought would change.
Yeah.
Like even the fact that DACA weapons aren't assault, they're their own sort of thing, kind of similar to rapid fire. Then on top of that, he was taking a lot of the new Beast Snagga boys with, a bunch of buggies and smash guns. He basically just wanted to use all the stuff he hasn't gotten to play with, which means it was a little slow.
Yeah.
And like right from the get go, that first turn where I took first turn because I'm like, you want first turn against orcs if you can, slow them down. That toughness 5 bounced a lot of my fire off.
Orcs at toughness 5 seems like a pretty good fucking deal.
Yeah, it is a good deal. And like Beast Snaggas having an invuln save on top of that means they're tough to take down. And he even though I shot him first, he still closed in, started beating my stuff up. And things were looking bad for me from like second half of turn 1 through turn 2. And then when he wrecked my repulsor, that's when things turned around for me, because inside that repulsor was Calgar, 3 Blade Guard, Victrix Honor Guard, and an Ancient. And they just started bulldozing. Like they just started wrecking shop. My Tech Marines started getting into melee and being way too dangerous for a mechanic. And I was able to turn it around. And it was, I'd say up to that point, the best game he and I have played, where like it was close until like turn 3.
And how did it end up?
End up with an Ultramarines victory, 63-36. So like the points there are very much in my favor, but it was a bit more dire on the tabletop.
Yeah, but things can swing so quickly in 9th edition games where you're like, all right, first couple turns is like 24-20, and you're like, oh boy, how's this going to end up? And then it ends up like 70-30, and you're like, but I thought it was a close game.
Yeah, it's basically just because like in turn 3, I happened to be on 3 objectives to his 2, and boom, there's 15 points.
Exactly.
So we followed that up the week after, New Orcs versus New Orcs. I got to roll out my old Blood Axes with their 6th edition list of boys and trucks.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New Orcs, New Orcs.
We'll workshop it. We'll do a full version.
No, I already did it. It's fine.
But no, I need to write a novelty song so we can turn this semi-funny 10-second joke into a no longer funny 3-minute Frank Sinatra parody.
How did the New Orc, the Subway series go down?
It went, it was bloody as hell, which is what you want. It was definitely like, at the end of the day, Orcs won. That's what matters. I gave him first turn, which I thought would be a good idea because it means he closed and I could shoot him up.
Fucking magnanimous of you.
Yeah, I know. I've beat him on the, I've rolled up higher on the first turn thing every fucking time we've played until this time.
Wow.
And it meant...
it sounds like Cassidy the Irish Vampire needs to fucking get good over here.
He does, but I'm trying to facilitate that by beating his ass.
It's like he's not good at Warhammer, but he's good at being my friend, Dan. Take it easy.
I mean, that is actually true. Okay. So, it did mean he kind of hemmed me in from the get-go, and it meant all the extra mobility of my boys and trucks was kind of hobbled. He'd jumped a mob of 20 Beast Snaggas right into my grill, which he was kind of like, oh man, they didn't really do that much that game. But I'm like, my guy, they tar pitted much of my army because they landed right in front of my Mega Knobs, and that invuln save they got blocked all those Mega Knob claw hits. Like, it really does kind of counter that sort of really high quality, low number of attacks sort of thing.
Right.
We picked each other apart pretty bad. He got a gnarly charge off of my gun wagon with his war boss. And I'm like, oh no, my gun wagon died. And I roll it. It explodes. Full 6 inches. How much damage does it do? Full 6 mortal wounds to the war boss, killing the war boss, damaging his truck, killing off a war biker mob, killing a few tank busters. Best moment of the game. Just my gun wagon going nuclear. And while I did rack up a bunch of secondaries, he got more in primaries, and I lost 36-39, ending my winning streak against Cassidy.
Wow. Wait, I think I have a sound effect for that. Yes. Yes, Cassidy. Absolutely.
Finally picking up the W that stands for WOG.
Finally coming in with a victory.
Yep.
Jeez.
Got one last game here, which was this past Monday with my Orcs again versus Forrest and his Sisters of Battle. He had
Forrest?
Yeah, his name's Forrest. I was trying to come up with some sort of like wordplay on like Forrest. He plays Sisters. Forest fires. My state's on fire. But I've got all the pins on the board, but I can't find the string to tie them together.
I mean, like he's got his first name's Forrest. Mm-hmm. There's a whole movie with a guy named Forrest.
This is true, and not one did he Forrest run with any of his Sisters units. So. On account of us being on a smaller table and only having 36 inches between us, which for 2K is kind of silly. It was probably my first game in Sisters since maybe 5th edition. Like, I feel like I might have played them once in 8th, but I don't remember. I took a more balanced list, kind of trying to play in some bigger strengths of the codex, like going for boys on foot since they get the benefit of cover from being at range because they're blood axes. He took Bloody Rose with a bunch of repressors, Repentia, Penitent Ninjas, and all these MSU units of Sisters. Well, I got first turn, and I made a good move with my commandos where they infiltrated up, charged and killed some Sisters, and tied up one of his immolators. And I had good target priority in general and taking out his Penitent Engines with my tank bustas. That was kind of it for my good moves. Mm-hmm. And from then on, he systematically tore my army to pieces.
Campbell, he systematically.
Oh! That's a real sister act right there. Gonna give this guy a couple of miracle dice on account of that good joke. Yeah, fucking A. Sisters have some really good tools against Orcs, and when there's a good player using them who knows what their list does, it makes things very hard for me.
Yeah, I was going to say when you're describing Forrest's list, I was going to say like, oh, finally Campbell has to play someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I did. There was a lot of Strength 6 heavy flamers. He had some repressors, which are a Legends unit, but who gives a shit? Weirdly, they're really good in melee. They kind of have like poor man's Death Rollas on them.
I mean, I would give a shit.
I mean, they're cool, but I don't care. Why would I care?
Is that a Legends unit? Get that out of here.
Who fucking cares? I got grot tanks and old metal grot guns and shit like that. I've got a Squigoth. I got all sorts of dumb shit I could roll out. I just didn't. Yeah, he also did some Repentia, and Repentia are fucking scary and do way more damage than my Mega Armor Knobs ever could dream of, and just chewed right through them.
They have large chainswords that they swing without abandon.
No, not a single ounce of abandon. And we ended the game at the bottom of turn 2.
Holy shit, really?
It went long. We got there. We got kind of pushed off our table, so we had to start late, and we had to kind of finagle a way to get terrain. Like it was all. We ended up starting like an hour later than we wanted to, so we got to the bottom of turn 2.
Okay, so let me translate that for the listeners. Campbell went to the game store and drank too many beers.
No, if I drink too many beers, that means I need to leave later because don't drive drunk. We ended at the bottom of turn 2 with him up 17-15.
Oh,
but
close game.
He was like, "Oh, it's a close game. It could have gone either way." And I'm like, "Bud, if this went for one more turn, I'd be out of models because he just chewed through basically everything I had." Like, I definitely did damage, but I had like 5 models left on the table, and it was like a gun wagon, 3 grots, a grot prodder, the Orcs. Grot herd and a mega mech, and that was it.
So what you're saying is though he was totally beasting you in this game, he did the merciful thing and ended it on turn 2, where you normally will drag out your opponent's shame and humiliation through the entire game.
So the thing is, I don't want to make the person who works behind the counter at the store stay there past close. And we were running up against closing time, and there wasn't enough time for a third turn.
Oh, how convenient, Campbell. The game had to end before Forrest could get the official win. Oh, it's so close, 17-5. I know what you're doing.
I'm trying to protect
slow playing.
Yeah, that's me. Deliberately slow playing. That's me. Not only do I want to make my opponent suffer and make myself look good, I want to also make the person working behind the counter at the game store really have to stick it out and hang out there all fucking night while some nerds drink in her store.
Power gamer McWacklin.
That's
over
me.
Here.
Wacklin PogChamp. I don't fucking know.
Okay, is that it?
That is it. Got a game lined up for next week, but that is still in the future.
All right, I did not play any games of tabletop. I played a bunch of board games when I was on vacation up in Western New York. Oh, by the way, just, if you ever get a chance to go to the St. Lawrence River, which is in Western New York or Canada, Eastern Canada, go. It's beautiful up there. Had a wonderful time. Did play a bunch of board games, but this isn't a fucking board game show, so we're going to move on to new stuff. And oh my God, Campbell.
All right, I'm going to be straight up here, and I'm going to mostly tap out new stuff because there's been a month worth of new stuff, and very little of it really registers to me anymore.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing. Like there's so much crap here. There's only a couple things I want to talk about.
I imagine one of them is what I want to talk about as well.
I mean, we'll find out, but let's start. So, Kill Team, it came out.
Yes, it did.
And there's a whole bunch of stuff happening. New Warcry-esque stats, movement templates, which a lot of people are upset about. Revamped weapon rules, and something we're going to touch on later in the show. So no need to mention. We'll mention it now, but no need to editorialize just yet. No points. Each kill team is selected from a bespoke list.
Right.
Which. Here's a quick spoiler alert. People are apparently very mad about, and we'll talk about it later in the show when we wade into the discourse.
Yeah.
So Kill Team, we've said on the show that we are not really fans of Kill Team. The last game was pretty bad. I'm willing to give this game a chance. I haven't gotten the Kill Team book yet. I'm not going to get the starter box. I don't even think I can anymore. But I'll get the book eventually, and I'll give it a shot because it looks pretty good.
Yeah, you've already got the models. You already got the terrain. I mean,
might as well.
That's my thinking. I tentatively wanted the box set, but I'm like, I already have a unit of 15 Orc Commandos, even though these new ones are really cool. The Deathcore models, they're really, we've talked about them before. I think they're cool. I have some ideas for conversions for them, but also like they'll be around. They'll be available later. I don't need to get them right now. I don't need the Orc terrain. I've got enough Imperial terrain I need to paint. And I can get the essentials and the rules and all that stuff elsewhere. So yeah, I'm good to wait until it's, a little bit more available.
Okay, talk about Necromunda for a bit. House of Shadows is out. I ordered it, but I haven't picked it up yet because of just various reasons. And I'm looking forward to picking it up, but I actually haven't given that a look through yet. We'll talk more about House of Shadows in a later episode, I'm sure.
Yes.
We've got these plastic upgrade kits coming out for the gangs. The Orlok one, they showed pictures of it. Quite frankly, I wasn't very impressed. Because it's just the plastic versions of the Forge World models. I was hoping for some new stuff.
Yeah,
I mean it's a very good kit.
Yeah,
people who are collecting Orloks right now should be thrilled that they don't have to go to resin to get their weapon upgrades. It's not every available weapon upgrade that is currently available in resin. Well, at least was available. I'm not going to go to the Forge World website and find out right now. But I was just a little bit disappointed because I was hoping for something new. Yeah. But again, it's good kits.
Yeah, and even if they aren't exciting, quote unquote, like they're really useful to Necromunda players, kit bashers, converters, whatever. I've used the resin kits for my Eschers and my Goliaths. They're fine. There's some cool stuff in them. I wish they were plastic when I built them, but you know what? I'm happy these exist. It makes the hobby better for everybody.
Yes, absolutely. We got some new ally models, the House Grime or Grime military attaches.
Yeah,
these fucking things are ridiculous.
These are my shit. Not just because Goliath has a special like bonus when they take House Grime allies. I've been waiting for these since House of Chains. Love the military attaché. I love that he is just like peak Imperial weirdo. Like he's just like bedecked in like medals and trophies and swords. He's got a clawfoot tub bionic leg.
Yes.
Which is so fucking cool. He's got a cool cane. He's got a robot hand. He's got a robot monocle. This guy looks every bit the Imperial noble I want him to look.
Or the extremely decorated Imperial general.
Yeah. Like
because the House Grime people, I'm saying Grime. I don't know if that's correct. It could be Greem or Grime, but I'm just going to go with Grime.
Grime crackers.
They are nobles who pretend that they're like this like great military organization, while in reality they're just slave traders.
Yeah, they're your full-on like military cosplaying stolen valor types. Like, except instead of going to the military surplus store, they go to like www.realusarmymedals.com or whatever.
There you go. Yeah.
But with him is someone who actually has seen some action, which is the Jaegerkin, and she is fucking cool because she's drawing so much on Rogue Trader imagery, like her body armor, shoulder pads, even the Necromunda spider on there, and like the spats are all drawn from the old Rogue Trader Guardsman kit, and her helmet is actually based on a piece of Jess Goodwin artwork that he did in like 1993 for early Imperial Guard concepts, where they've got like that gas mask helmet with a trench coat and like this AK-47 looking las gun. I really wish they actually made that as a plastic kit, but I love that she's a throwback to that. She's got like a cool scarred face, big ass shotgun.
Yep.
Excellent models.
It's
Both of them
like
are
the
slam
old
dunks.
Arbides style shotgun too.
Yeah, the big like with the man-stopper rounds and all that shit. Yeah, I'm extremely here for them both.
Am 100% buying this kit.
I want to. I really want to. And not just because I play Goliaths and they're a good pick for them.
I just want these two fucking miniatures in my collection. These are fantastic.
Same. Necromunda weirdos, just slam dunks.
All right, let's move on to Age of Sigmar here. Apparently, there's going to be some dragons coming to Age of Sigmar soon.
There are. I'm looking at them. I've got ideas for paint schemes. I like them. They're huge. Big centerpiece models. I'd probably grab like one, and then the like one of the character ones maybe. I like the scarred up one. I like the dragon riding knight type guys. I've been
there's dragons and dragon riders.
Yeah, I've actually been talking to our friend Peter Dolan about them because he's got big opinions on lizards. And he came up with something that he told me that I really like, which is in a high fantasy setting, do fantastical colors for mundane animals and mundane colors for fantastical animals. And I like that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the reason my Griffhounds for my Stormcast all look very naturalistic. And
Yeah.
I feel like if I were to get these dragons, I'd pattern them off some lizards that are like native to the Mediterranean, since my army has kind of like a ancient Greek sort of theme.
Right.
I want to grab some of these. I like them a lot.
All right, great. Excellent. Let's talk about, there's a cruel boy on a large bird.
Gobsprak
which,
on the corpse rich of Vulture Killabeak.
Yeah, that's, I'm not a huge fan of the Cruel Boys, but I actually do like this model quite a bit.
He's got a real dark fantasy thing to me, like very much feels like something you'd see from like, I don't know, like a Ralph Bakshi, like heavy metal, like that's like 80s animated fantasy sort of like feels very in that. I like it a lot. Busy as hell, of course, but it's very fucking cool and really creepy.
Yeah. We're on record not being huge fans of the Cruel Boys around these parts, but this is a good one.
Yeah, we're not huge fans, but they've got some good stuff going on there still.
Sure. Let's talk about Blood Bowl real quick. We got a new Chaos Star player, Scylla Anfingrim.
They look like a War Machine model.
Yeah, one of the worst names, but it's a Demon Star player, and the model itself is posed, let's just say, dynamically as they run over a rather surprised wood elf. I actually don't know much about this character. I've never seen anybody use them. But it's a cool model and a cool concept as a Khorne demon Blood Bowl player.
They were a Warhammer Fantasy character.
Okay.
I don't know if they got transitioned over to Age of Sigmar, but I remember they were an old like resin and before that metal for fantasy character.
Well, they've got transitioned over to Blood Bowl, which I think is far more rarefied air than getting transitioned over to AOS.
I do like the idea of old world characters just finding their way to the Blood Bowl pitch, and it's like, what's Karl Franz and Balthazar Gelt doing here? Who fucking knows? They play sports now.
Balthazar Gelt would suck at Blood Bowl. That dude is a fucking nerd.
He would. Well, that's the thing. I feel like his whole thing is he would like transmute the ball into gold, and it would just drop, and that would be it. But cool, no one gets to play anymore.
Thanks, Balthazar. All right, and then finally, let's talk about some 40k.
Yeah.
So we got a new Thousand Suns character, the Infernal Master. Fantastic model.
Yep. He's got some sculpted psychic jizz and fire jizz coming out of him, and these tiny like screamers of Tzeentch being formed out of him, which is really cool. I like him. He's somewhere between a Dark Apostle and a Sorcerer. I'm happy to see him.
The new faction ability for the Thousand Suns, Kabbalistic rituals, so they can supercharge their psychic powers even further.
Love it. That's what they're all about.
And finally, the last thing I want to touch on in the new stuff is the goddamned Emperor's Champion.
Fuck me sideways. This is a cool model.
Oh my god. This totally blindsided me.
Yeah.
I had no idea we were getting new Black Templar models. And I assume we're going to get the rest of the Black Templar crew in Primaris.
Yeah, I'd assume so.
Grimaldus, Helbrecht. Are we going to see Crusaders? Are we going to finally see Primaris Scouts?
As neophytes?
Yeah.
I think it's possible. Like, I really do. They seem to be doing a very good job at modernizing old concepts, and I can't imagine you're going to be like, look at our cool new release. And for this cool new release, you're going to want to buy these busted ass scouts from 2005 with some of the worst heads we've ever sculpted. There's a reason my scouts and my Black Templars all have helmets. Like, yeah, I think, actually, no, they showed the cover artwork of the Codex. Which is pretty cool. Doesn't look like the other chapter supplements where it's just like a guy. It's like your typical Codex cover. And there is what looks like a Primaris. I don't know if it's a Primaris Scout, but there is like a neophyte in there who looks pretty hulking, who's on there in back a little ways, and what looks like Sword Brethren or, you know, some sort of like veteran intercessor type thing for Black Templars. And I'm pretty fucking stoked because like.
Well, let's talk before we let's
talk the
ditch
champ
the
himself.
speculation.
Yeah.
Let's ditch the speculation. Talk about what we have right now. The Emperor's Champion. This is an update of one of the already coolest models in the Warhammer 40,000 range.
Yep.
Modernized and scaled upwards, and I am fully in love with it.
Yeah, he's everything I would want from a modernized Emperor's Champion. Like, he's got like. His pose is so evocative of the old one where it's, you know, just holding the sword aloft. He's got like some fabric and shit like that, like whipping around. Like, even though his pose isn't dynamic, he's still got this like wind.
There's some wind action.
Yeah, it's this windswept
yeah.
sort of thing. Like, it looks proper heroic. He's got this cool tilting plate with tons of room for glorious heraldry. Mm-hmm. Since the Emperor's Champion himself is basically a semi-anonymous figure, it's not the same guy every time. I love that his armor is not adorned with anything.
Yes.
Like, it's just like...
Though it's got some big flat places where somebody who's real fucking good at painting could get in there with some shit.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got like a super Templary sword. That's a bit of a modernization of the old black sword. I love the rosary beads he's got in his hand. Mm-hmm. And the sword's chained to his hand too, which is the way that like all the old Black Templars were. Although I think the actual metal Emperor's Champion didn't have his sword chained to his hand, because I think
he's just holding it. But this one's got it chained to his hand, which is how it's supposed to be. Yeah,
I think at first I didn't like that the laurels were resting above his helmet. I liked it better when it was like more close to the helmet, like with the old one. But this kind of also makes it double sort of as like a halo, like from a medieval piece of artwork. No, this dude's a fucking slam dunk. I know it's a Space Marine with a sword. Eat my entire ass. He's cool.
Oh, I want to give an eat my entire ass to all the people out there who are saying that they don't like it because it's not the exact same as the old one.
I wish he had the point.
While it is honestly like 95% of the old model, just scaled up with some new details and some improved bits. And it's not on a fucking hero rock, which I am just incredibly thankful for. It's got a little bit of a rock on the base, but he's not, standing a full head and shoulders taller than every other Marine around him. This is a fantastic model, and I can understand the grognards and the baby boomers and the ancient turd factory fucking assholes out there who just don't want to like it because it's not the same as the old one.
Right.
And I can understand the contrarian dipshits also, who whenever they see anything cool say it's bad automatically because they are just sad and awful people. I can understand that too, but this model fucking rips shit, Campbell.
Yep.
And anybody who disagrees with that can eat both of our entire asses, a gigantic ass sandwich one gigantic ass and one skinny ass sandwich, and just deal with that, fuckos.
It's raining ass. Hallelujah.
That's right. I'm bringing the heat, Campbell, as always. All right.
And I'm bringing the ass back. I'm backing that ass up.
Oh, man, that song came out in middle school, and me and my friends played it, I don't know, 5 times a day, every day for a year. It's a fantastic song.
The closest thing I can think that is the time I heard the thong song on a music video channel in a motel once, and it was the thong song uncensored, and I thought uncensored was part of the name of the song. So I was like, I heard this song. It's called the thong song uncensored.
All right. WMDK, we make the call. We're doing it. We're talking about it. Here's one. This is not a Warhammer question, but I like it, so we're going to do it. It's from Eric DuPont via email. And Eric says, as havers/knowers of 2 of the top contenders, what is the worst American regional accent? And to bring it around to something at least slightly on topic, which Primarchs and or 40k Dramatis Persona have which accents? So the worst American regional accent, Campbell, you're up.
New England. Like,
oh, you're going for your own people here.
I love the Boston accent. It's awful. It's one of the worst things ever. It's not quite, I think the New Hampshire accent, which is a little more nasally and a little more here, and like a little more of those, instead of dropping the R, they kind of like drop off into the R. I think that is probably a little worse. The Boston accent is one that is near and dear to me. I have picked up a smidge of here and there, and is absolutely awful. I cannot take anything seriously when it's said with a Boston accent. Like, I can't hear someone say something like I love you, kid, wicked had, and I'm just like, oh cool, thanks Mayor Quimby, thanks.
Yeah. First time I went to Boston, I didn't realize that people actually spoke like that. And I was like struggling not to laugh at people.
Yeah. It's like, it's a punchline that the city itself is in on. And it's hilarious. I adore it. If you want to see, oh shit. What's the movie? Is Killing Me Softly or Killing Them Softly? Is a crime film, and one of the actors is an English actor, and he's trying to do a Boston accent, and for the most part it's okay, and then he just completely fucking flubs pronouncing any town name, and it kills me. It just fucking kills me. Do your research. It's Worcester, not Worcester.
Worcester.
It's Worcester.
There's a really good tweet the other day. Is booster shots in Boston are spelled BORCESTER.
Broster.
Let him think through it.
BRO.
Get there.
Broster shots.
BORCESTER.
Ah, there it is. Yeah, Buster shots.
Buster. Get your Buster shot.
Yeah, mock ass Buster.
I think the worst American regional accent is Upper Midwest. It's grating to me. I mean, I have never traveled up there. I only know a couple of people from the Upper Midwest, and the movie Fargo is where I really get most of this. Now, I understand that people from the Upper Midwest are beautiful, wonderful, happy, and welcoming and open people. I get that, and I'm not talking about the people. I'm not trying to slag on the people here, all right? I'm just saying the whole, like, Minnesota, like, accent, like that, the oh, yeah, you betcha, like that, I am, like...
Oofda,
It's like, are you a fucking cartoon?
It is a cartoonish accent.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a cartoonish accent, like a very wholesome cartoonish accent. Kind of, it's like, am I in a theme park that you all live in that makes cheese and nothing else? Okay, I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not trying to cast aspersions at the people of the Upper Midwest, just at the accent. So,
right.
That's it. I think so. We're going to go with the 2 worst, or the New England accent, which honestly, the New England accent, I think you got to get a little more specific, because like there are several accents in there.
Yeah, no, there really are. Because like in Connecticut, you have people, everyone I knew in Connecticut either talked like a New Yorker or like a Southerner. Because I lived in rural.
Well, Connecticut's fucking weird.
Connecticut is fucking weird, and if that whole state was sawed off and sank into the ocean, I would not shed a single tear.
Yeah,
except for the Golden Rock Diner in Hartford, Connecticut. That diner's good.
Hotfoot.
This thing is, no one says Hartford. Like if you're in Massachusetts, you might, but if you live in Connecticut, you're either a New Yorker who's leaf peeping there, or you live there.
Okay, Primarchs and accents. I don't fucking know, Eric. I just don't know.
Yeah,
I want to answer this question. I do, but I just don't know.
I may be a simple country Primarch.
Does Fulgrim have one of those like languid sort of like old money Southern accents?
Yeah, no. The thing is, I imagine Fulgrim just sounds like Liquid Snake. Like,
I don't know what that means.
Okay, play Metal Gear Solid. You'll learn a lot. But
I don't have to, and I won't, because the one thing I know about those games is that they're mostly cutscenes.
The fourth one is. The rest aren't. They just have lengthy cutscenes that are absolutely buck wild. But
I remember one of those games, somebody on my floor freshman year of college got it new for their Xbox. And there was like, the game started with like legitimately a half hour of cutscenes.
That's most of them, yeah. But no, he sounds just kind of like, brother. Like it just sounds, it's not really something I can put as a regionality thing. That's just what I imagine his actual voice sounds like.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I can't really put real world accents on most of them because while it's like, Rabute Gilliman is from a Greco-Roman culture, but I can't imagine in all the audiobooks, he just sounds like a prim and proper, like deep voiced Englishman, not like a guy who runs a Greek deli. Like I imagine he's more like Marcellus.
He's not. You like it a juice, huh?
Yeah, he's more like Marcellus and less Marcos. Like I imagine that's kind of where he's at. Yeah. So yeah, I gotta say, all the audiobook readers for Black Library do fantastic work. Toby Longworth, great voice actor. Not enough accent work. Not enough cartoon voices.
They don't. They take it they play it straight.
Yeah.
And even in the shit that's not supposed, like the Caiaphas Cain stuff, the voice actors play it straight.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it. I understand it, but kind of wish they'd fucking go for it once or twice.
Yeah, like there's a bit of a like sort of like a Russian accent sort of going on with with Karn and like some of the World Eaters. Like there's a bit of that kind of worked in there, and there's I'll be honest, kind of cringe-inducing take on an Asian accent, just kind of like a stereotypical Asiatic accent in Scars by Chris Wright. That one's. Listening to an Englishman just kind of do like a very bad, I guess, Mongolian accent was kind of hard to listen to. But
that's not great.
It's not extra great. But for the most part, I don't think their accents are anything but just space British from canonical sources.
Okay. Let's move on, Campbell, to our first actual segment of the show. We're like an hour and 15 minutes into this bitch, but whatever. It's been a while.
Yeah. We don't have a button for that, do we?
No, but we have. I did say.
You did say the first two words.
It's been.
No, I'm really not supposed to do it for myself. It's more of a you thing.
No, it's a self check. But if there was an extended, it's been a while.
Oh wait, from that shithead from Stain.
It's been a while since I've been Sam. It's been a while since I passed. That
guy's like a conservative country singer now. And he's from Campbell. He's from Vermont.
Cool. Vermont's weird though. Vermont's weird.
Vermont's all those Vermont, New Hampshire is full of hicks, just like the shittiest parts of the South.
Yeah, but then you get to the good, like the better parts of Vermont, and they're fantastic. Like Montpelier, great. It's good place, cool place.
I guess Montpelier, is that New Hampshire or Vermont?
That's Vermont.
Okay, I couldn't name a city. Burlington.
Burlington's great. Yeah, Montpelier is the capital of Vermont. No, Burlington's great. There's a good game store there. A lot of.
I hear they got a nice scope factory.
That's Burlington, Mass. Because there's 4 town names in New England, and we have half of them here in Oregon. We have a Medford, we have a Malden, we have a Salem, we got a Springfield, we got them all.
You got a Portland.
We do.
Did you say Portland? I was laughing.
I didn't say Portland, but the most notable is actually. New England has a Portland. We have Portland.
Well, yeah, America's second favorite
Portland. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
a nice
we got to
time.
move on.
Yeah, we do.
This is a segment. Here we go. It's the Badcast wades into the discourse. There has been a lot of shitty stuff happening in our community lately, and we are going to comment on it because it's what we end up doing quite a bit.
Yes.
Let's start with the easy one first.
Okay.
With Kill Team.
Okay, so before we wade into this too hard, Dan, ahead of time, I had you prep a bell dinging sound effect. Could you ring that once for us right now? Because this segment is going to be full of a lot of annoying, shitty stuff, I have indexed a massive collection of salty posts. And
oh my God, this is so much better than us actually talking about it. This is awesome.
And anytime you feel the conversation is lulling or you're getting kind of tired talking about the serious thing, you ring that bell and I will read one of them.
Okay, I'm gonna. Can we try it out?
Yeah, I have 15 fucking pages of this.
Oh, this is so amazing. All right, I'm gonna try it out.
Games Workshop boycott! Do send physical letters to GW expressing your displeasure with their current practices, prices, IP, related, employee salaries. Do buy a 3D printer. Do paint your backlog. Do learn a new wargame like Gaslands, Frostgrave, Infinity, Malifaux. Do buy paints from Vallejo, Reaper, Army Painter. Do not harass local staff or social media staff. That one I actually do support. Do not buy from Games Workshop web store or physical locations. Do not subscribe to Warhammer Capital A apps. Do not give in and buy the latest FOMO box from GW. Do not visit the Warhammer community website.
Oof, that's a long list of do's and don'ts there, huh?
Oh, I mean, some of these bits of salt are wee little kernels. Some of these are entire goddamn mines. So and they are not in any particular order. So does not matter how on topic we are. If you ring that bell, I'm gonna read something stupid.
Okay, well, let's talk about Kill Team first here. So people are mad about Kill Team, and I kind of miss this in the fugue that has been the past 2 weeks for me, where one of the things I've heard is that people are mad that there aren't any points in Kill Team now. You just sort of have a list for your faction, and you pick from that list.
Right. Yeah, so it's a more bespoke sort of list thing. It's somewhere between Warcry, Warhammer Underworlds, Old Kill Team. Like, that's kind of the vibe they're going for. Which I personally don't mind, because honestly, a 5-man squad with a flamer or a plasma gun doesn't make a huge difference in 40k, and in this own bespoke game, which is totally different, you can balance a flamer and a plasma gun against each other. So it's not really it's based on some assumptions of the compendium they have not read. That being said, there's also a lot of salt about the compendium, because people don't realize that it's basically an index, like placeholder sort of thing, and they're going to flesh things out more in the future. I'm pretty sure they've even said as such. In fact, it's smart for them to do so because it'll make them money, as well as flesh out your armies, kill teams. So it's a lot of people seeing very little information and getting very mad about it. I'm not going to make aspersions and say they're all people who don't have any interest in the actual game or don't have models or whatever, but there's a lot of very annoying opinions out there. And like, you can say, you know, there are people who like Old Kill Team. There are. I know they do. I know they exist. I'm not one of them. You can say, I liked Old Kill Team. I'm not sure I'm going to like New Kill Team. That is a reasonable expectation. That is a reasonable thing to say, reasonable thing to think and feel. But you also get people saying, how dare they get rid of Old Kill Team and come out with a new game? Agree. Games Horse Shop from the moment I started collecting Britannia was a horrible company. Bad deals. They created lore they abandoned. End times crap didn't help them. I wish someone would buy GW from UK and do something good for the fans. They created Griatti Games, World and Hobby, but it's like toxic sex. You know you love it and it will hurt you as fuck. IMO, CA, Creative Assembly, did more to Warhammer fans than GW ever did. Thanks, CA. We love you for that.
Of course, the fucking Bretonian fans got to come out.
And of course, they spelled Bretonia wrong. Hence, Britannia. So yeah, it's a new game, and a lot of people are very shitty about the fact it's a new game.
It's a new game.
Manja. And it's a me kill team. And the thing is, on top of that, you're also getting people complaining that the new box set is too expensive because it's a $200 box set. And a lot of people can't really seem to grasp that just because something is expensive doesn't mean it can't be good value. Because like if I look at that box, I'm like, all right, there's probably, let's say $50 worth of rule books in there. I think that's valid. I'd say there's 2 squad kits that are probably going to be $40 to $60 squad kits. Then you got a bunch of terrain. There's over $200 worth of stuff in there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot it comes with terrain.
Yeah, it comes with a lot of terrain and the game boards and all that stuff. But like other thing is, you don't got to buy it. You can get into
you can just get the book if you want to play.
You can just get the essentials kit, which I think is,
or you can wait for it to get pirated and
please, it's already been pirated. Yeah, you can spend like $35 I think to get the essentials kit. Like it is, and it's like, oh no, then I don't have the ruler. It's like you can do the math. Like triangle is 5 inches or some shit.
Oh,
like,
the ruler. Yeah, that was something that people were. It's okay. It's stupid that Games Workshop made for the kill team like every squad has like a shape that corresponds with a distance for movement.
Right.
Like that is stupid. I'm not going to argue that it's not stupid because it's very stupid. But what else is stupid is how mad people got about it on the internet.
Yeah.
Because like who? Okay. 2 pentagons equals 6 inches. All right. They could have just put 6 inches, but they didn't. They did 2 pentagons instead. And it's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how this fucking works, y'all. It's just fucking movement. And if they wanted to print their little fucking bespoke things for it for whatever reason, like it's fine. It doesn't people were getting so worked up about it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, don't you, it's fucking movement templates.
Yeah, I rolled my eyes pretty hard at the movement template thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't like it. It's dumb. It should just be inches. I'm not going to get mad about it. I'm not going to threaten to boycott Games Workshop because of it. I'm just going to be like, all right, fucking
no, for
fine.
what it's worth, I don't think people were like threatening to boycott. It's just that it's like it was working people up, and it's just this dumb thing to get worked up about.
Yeah, I think they should have done it. No, I think they should have used inches like every other war game. But you know what? Fucking whatever. A lot of other people also got mad that their old kill teams probably aren't going to work anymore. In fact, almost definitely aren't going to work anymore because there's a new organizational system, as we've talked about, where you're taking like fire teams of like 5 Marines or 3 heavy intercessors or whatever the fuck. And some people are like, oh no, my old kill team isn't going to work. And instead of just being like the way everyone is whenever an edition changes or a new codex comes out, where you can just kind of take that as a given and you just kind of roll with it because you're ideally a functioning adult, they get fucking mad about it. And they're like, I can't believe my old kill team that I converted and painted just for this is out. I can't believe it. I can't believe they got rid of this. And it's like, fucking A. In fact, I've even, I'm actually going to preempt you here because I've got a specific bell ring.
Would you like me to hit it?
You know what? I very much think I would. Once I find this one. One moment.
This is me at the waiting room or the waiting desk at the hotel while you're looking into your records room. I'm going to keep hitting it until you give it to me.
I know. I'm trying to find it.
Wow, this is ridiculous, Campbell. I'm the level of customer service here is awful.
Fuck.
I can't imagine the listeners are enjoying this.
So they're extremely. Oh, here it is. Dear Games Workshop, as someone who owns a Servants of the Abyss kill team, I now know what squat players felt like when they got abandoned too. I know Servants of the Abyss, Gellerpox Infected, and Elucidian Star Striders aren't major factions, but we paid, spelled wrong, you our money. We put time and effort into creating and painting our kill teams. We supported your company. We deserve a place at the table too. Sota was the first kill team I owned, assembled, and painted. I had never heard of Kill Team, but bought Blackstone Fortress because I had a love of board games. It was my gateway drug into Kill Team, and now, like a dumped overdose addict in a back alley, it's been unceremoniously abandoned to die. Really bummed out right now.
What is Servants of the Abyss?
That was the expansion for Blackstone Fortress with the Chaos team. like the cool cultists.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which
but
you can still use as chaos cultists in kill teams because you can just take those.
I just want to clarify that this person is talking about miniatures from a different game.
Right, that they used in kill team.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't designed for kill team.
Correct. I'm sorry, y'all, where your team was a guard, like a commissar and 8 guard plasma gunners, that your very stupid, not in the spirit of the game thing isn't going to work anymore. But good news about your kill teams is they're probably still fine. And you can probably use them in 40k too.
Yeah.
You're going to be fine. And you know what? Edition changes are real. Like, welcome to how tabletop wargaming works. It's not the best thing about tabletop wargaming. The fact that Games Workshop supports as much legacy shit as they do is frankly surprising and honestly generally pretty all right. Look at all the small marines still in the Space Marine Codex. Or there's rules for metal orc models in the Orc Codex that just came out next month. Like, not everything's always going to carry over 110%, and that kind of bites, but like, fucking whatever. There's toys. It's games.
Yeah.
You're not dying over it.
I mean, it's I get it a little bit, but like, I don't know, man. It's also Kill Team. Like, Kill Team fucking sucked.
It wasn't
the first edition.
It wasn't a great game.
The last edition, I should say. It was bad. It was a bad game that wasn't fun. And so anything else I would be thrilled about if I were like a hardcore Kill Team player.
Yeah, if you were like a hardcore Kill Team player, which I feel like even you weren't thrilled with the that Pariah Nexus box set with the fucking plastic ice cube molds of Necron terrain and the 5 Himbocessors and the 5 flayed ones or whatever. Like, Kill Team wasn't really in a great place, and I can't imagine it's going to be in a worse one.
No.
Games Workshop has blatantly ignored and mistreated their fan base in the past with little to no pushback. Oftentimes, the understanding has been that they must function as a company in order to continue to provide us with a hobby that entertains us so. However, their continued abuse cannot go unchallenged any longer. With the release of their new, overly restrictive stance on fan animation and so forth, they have actively attacked the very creativity and engagement they claim to encourage and support from their fans. Thus, it is time they know our outrage and note they have ignored us for far too long, and that to continue to do so will be at the cost of what they truly value, their profit. We understand it takes money to run a company and to create and distribute the products we enjoy. However, Games Workshop continues to prioritize pure profit over drawing in new players and enriching the experience for the ones already here. From refusing to update and offer new models for other factions besides Space Marines, not true, and arriving at this shameful stranglehold in their content, Games Workshop continues to ignore the only reason why they have a business at all, and that is us, the fans. No more! We will be heard. We are prepared to boycott if needed in order to ensure that our voices are heard and their legitimacy understood and not taken lightly. And that is from a fucking change.org petition.
Oh my God.
To reverse their stance on fan animations.
Oh, this is a great segue to get into our next topic here, which if you're not an IP lawyer, stop listening now, because this is IP lawyers only. Now, the cool thing about being in the Games Workshop hobby, Campbell, is there are so many intellectual property lawyers who are part of the hobby and they have so many important and great takes on it. And there's also international business logistics experts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too.
Everyone works.
Tons of them everywhere.
Yeah, if you don't work in manufacturing, you work in law or you work in logistics or all three, honestly. Like, there's triple threats in this community. And I'm thinking it might be close to 60% of the at least Reddit Warhammer user base.
I feel like we're telling, if you're not one of those, like, stop listening at this point, but nobody's going to stop listening because all of our fans are at least one of them.
Absolutely, if not all three. I imagine most of y'all are pulling a hat trick of extremely specific, extremely like requiring a fuckload of education and training and practice. I'm sure basically everyone can do all these things.
Okay, so let's get into actually what happened here. Games Workshop updated their code. Again, not laws, because they didn't update any laws or do anything with any sort of like legal stuff, except in the framework that they're are laws that exist to protect intellectual property. And Games Workshop came out and said, here is what we will go after.
Yeah.
If you are making money off of our IP, here's what we're going to do about it if we can.
And
do which is, oh boy. Again, I'm clearly an IP law expert. Right. And so are you, Campbell. Yes. And what I mean to say is that we're completely not experts on this stuff. We're not lawyers. And listener, unless your name is Garrett, you're not a lawyer either. There is a Garrett who listens to our show who is a lawyer, so he knows about this stuff.
There might even be two.
But you, listener, probably you're not.
Yeah.
And IP law is something that exists and has existed before Games Workshop.
Yes, and it will exist after Games Workshop, whenever that may be.
You have to expect companies to fervently defend their intellectual property. I mean, look at Disney, for fuck's sake. They're one of the greatest offenders, if you will, because I don't really think it offensive as a company, making sure people aren't profiting off their intellectual
stuff. Property. Yeah.
As a content creator, if somebody was making money off of Badcast stuff, I mean, you've told me before that some of our shirt ideas and shit get pirated by people and gets sold on websites where we don't, or you don't get any recognition or money for it. Like that, as content creators, like that, it sucks. So you get all these folks who are super up in arms with the fact that, hey, Games Workshop is going to look after their IP. And when they do, expect some sort of legal actions. And I say when, and when is important because Games Workshop hasn't.
Yeah. A lot of people think, like, the thing that is making the rounds was basically a line from their legal page that was updated in, I think, May. It's been there a while, basically saying, Games Workshop doesn't want you to make fan films. And there's not really anything legally backing that up. And recently with the Warhammer Plus announcement, they've been bringing in a lot of those fan filmmakers. So Richard Boylan, the Hell's Reach guy, was making Angels of Death. The Astartes crew and their movie got brought in. Sodaz was brought in but backed out after supposed fans lashed out at him for wanting to be paid for his labor because this community is going fucking wild right now. And it's not just them. A lot of the community is going fucking wild. And you're right. No one has had anything taken down at time of recording to our knowledge. If you and the thing is, I've got a horse in this fight. I made the Dawn of Awesome cartoons. There's 7 of them. Plus a fucking other one. And
they're beautiful.
Beautiful. The reason Games Workshop hasn't reached out to me to make a series for Warhammer Plus is because it's too good. First of all, I assume not only the letters in the mail, but the checks in the mail too. And they're paying me in advance for Dawn of Awesome.
It's insane that you aren't working for Games Workshop right now, making Dawn of Awesome for Warhammer Plus.
Yeah, no, Dawn of Awesome 8.88, They Shall Not Die, no. It's on the way. It's part of the Dawn of Awesome rebuild series. It's going to be fantastic. But yeah, I've got a horse in this fight for sure, but I haven't got...
Hey, power just flickered over here, so if this podcast gets weird, that is why.
Okay, it's not because the Games Workshop IP lawyers are listening in on our walls in the fucking lives of others or whatever.
No, just the FBI and the NSA as per
just
usual.
The domestic threats, not the international ones. Hey, fellas.
I love you guys.
Don't look at my search history. I use incognito tabs for a reason. So that's the thing is no one's films have been taken down. You can go on YouTube right fucking now and watch every Emperor's text-to-speech device, every Dawn of Awesome, the whatever that Brother Get the Heavy Flamer is. You can watch fucking anything because none of it's been taken down. The only stuff that's come down is Astartes because Games Workshop bought it from the dude and people still re-upload it and those uploads are still up there. Sodaz's animations got taken down because he took them down because fans were being shitty to him. And the Ultramarines movie, the official film that Games Workshop paid Codex Pictures to produce and make, is up on YouTube in multiple illegal uploads and no one gives a piss because this shit doesn't matter. The fires here were stoked even more by the community because you had Alpha Busa, who he's a friendly acquaintance of mine. We've actually talked before and collaborated a bit on stuff. He gave me a bunch of sound files that I used to make Dawn of Awesome cartoons. He's the guy who makes the Emperor's text-to-speech device. And he announced in a rather lengthy video that he and his team were putting their series on indefinite hiatus because the the Patreon for Emperor's text-to-speech device is how he makes his livelihood, and he's a new homeowner and a new dad and doesn't want to tie up his livelihood with something that volatile, which I completely understand.
But this guy uses copyrighted images for his show.
He doesn't much anymore from what I get when I've like, it's not a series I've really like followed. Like I check in once in a while, watch something here and there. For the most part, he actually is like commissioning artists to make original artwork for it. It's pretty cool that he was able to support that sort of thing. But even still, it's like, it's his animated fan fiction, and it's like, I'm glad he's able to make as much of a living off it as he is, which
I guess some of the older stuff.
The older stuff,
is,
yeah.
Okay,
but like, again, my Dawn of Awesome cartoons use copyrighted audio, and Games Workshop hasn't come after me. Those videos are still monetized, so fucking whatever. And mind you, there's also policies, like YouTube videos reacting to this policy going back to May. This ain't new. And a lot of people think that it's like, okay, if there's a fan animator or someone making fan animations or whatever, lawyers are going to be knocking on the door tomorrow. And again, I may be a simple country, not lawyer, but there's one thing I know that lawyers are, and that's expensive. Paying a lawyer to draft up and send a cease and desist and potentially pursue legal action against Joe Schmo YouTuber is not cost effective, even for a company like Games Workshop that has money. Because like, if you have a highly inexpensive corporate legal team, you don't want them chasing you don't want them chasing like XX Goku Vegeta 69420 on YouTube because he made a cartoon where the Space Marine farts or whatever the fuck. Like, it's not cost effective, and it's not going to happen. Like, and even on a cease and desist, you can ignore it. Like, that's not good legal advice, but you can ignore it.
Well, the Emperor's text-to-speech thing, it's like people are saying like it's Games Workshop's fault that Alpha Boosa guy doesn't want to do it anymore. But like, again, he wasn't served with the cease and desist.
No, and he also hasn't put out one in like 6 months. Like, he's got other stuff going on. Like, some people think that maybe he was basically stepping away from it. I don't know his interior life, really, just know what I know. And yeah, like, fucking whatever. He has not been served anything. He even says in this video, like, I haven't heard from Games Workshop. I feel like it's the sort of thing where if you reach out to Games Workshop and are like, hey, this thing I made, is it cool? This like fan work I made, is it cool? Then they might go after you, because then technically the company knows about it, quote unquote. But if it just exists in the ether, fucking who cares? Whatever.
I gotta say, people have tried, text-to-speech device is one of these Warhammer adjacent things that a lot of people who don't play the hobby are into, because they're like, they know the lore or whatever, and then they, watch the videos and they think it's funny or whatever. And so a lot of times when people figure out that I'm like into Warhammer or something, and they've like seen some of these videos, they'll like try to send me and show me these videos. I have never enjoyed any one of these things. I mean, I don't know this Alpha Boosa guy. I have, I've only heard good things about him. But like these videos for the most part are just not my cup of tea whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This has never ever been a part of the hobby for me, is these fan made spoofs or whatever. So like this, like, I don't know. I guess a lot of people like TTS as the shorthand is for it, but like TTS going away is not exactly robbing the world of like one of the ninth wonder of the world.
Yeah, it's not like it's a fundamental pillar of the hobby, or even of the Warhammer hobby specifically. I know people enjoy it, and I've heard people pair with the memes and whatever, and like, that's fine, it's cool, I'm glad you enjoy it. Like, I was at the game store the other day, and somebody's like, well, Games Workshop isn't going to be around much longer, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, well, with that IP thing, I imagine a lot of people aren't going to buy anymore, they're going to go under. And I'm like, dude, this ain't my first rodeo.
That's an amazing take.
It is an amazing take.
By someone who has clearly never read an annual report before.
That's the thing. I was like, they're making money hand over fist, like, and have been. He's like, yeah, but when the pandemic's over and with this IP thing, they're going to be in hot water. And I'm like, listen, fella, first of all, you don't have any models. You don't have an army. You've never actually bought anything. Second of all, I'm like, I've been in this hobby long enough. Like, this is not the first boycott. And none of them have done a fucking thing. They happen like clockwork. I've been playing since 2005. I think the first time I saw one of these was like 2008. And that's when I got owned, because this person, who was probably about 19, was like, so you're like 40, right? And I'm like, okay, you win this time, game store Zoomer. You win this time.
Yeah, but you're fucking 30.
Yeah, no, I'm 30. I only have 1 foot mostly in the grave, not fully planted.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like the fan, the rage about the fan made stuff. Like again, it's all completely manufactured.
Yeah,
like Games Workshop is not. They haven't gone out there and actually started doing copyright strikes against anyone. There's no like big campaign coming from them to stop people from creating stuff adjacent to their IP or whatever. Like it's just this fake hysteria that like, I don't know, people just want to be mad about.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd say it's a fake hysteria, but it's one born completely from lack of actual information. Because like their same legal page also prohibits 3D prints and like third-party model kits. And go on Shapeways and type Space Marine right now. I'll wait.
Yeah. Like, it's another thing. It's like, yeah, every company on the planet is going to say like, oh, don't use our stuff without paying us. All right. And people use their shit without paying them all the fucking time.
Yeah, go on.
There's entire industries about fucking making car parts for cars that where the manufacturer of the cars say, all right, well, if you use any car parts that aren't directly manufactured by us, your warranty is gone.
Yeah.
And people still do it anyways because it's a lot cheaper than going to your fucking Volkswagen dealership instead of going to the place down the street.
Yeah, I get. Yeah,
like, people are acting like none of this shit exists anywhere in the world. It's fucking stupid.
That's the thing. Yeah, like, yeah. I grew up with a VHS tape called The Parody Is of Star Wars because they didn't know how to spell parodies correctly. And it was full. It was like a pirated VHS tape full of like unofficial parodies of Star Wars. And it was like a thing I enjoyed an awful lot as a kid. And you couldn't buy it at Kmart. I had to buy it at a convention. Like this fan film kerfuffle, this copyright kerfuffle, copyright with a K, of course, about fan films and so on, is them covering their asses. It is not them saying we're going to go out there and fucking burn my house down because I made Dawn of Awesome in 2008. It's them saying like, okay, if someone is profiting from a fan film and it becomes like a problem for the company
or damaging, I think what's going to be more important to them for defending their IP or anything is damaging to the IP.
Yeah, if they're doing something like that, then yeah, it's so they can reach out and take that stuff down. It is a cover your ass policy. It is not a plan of attack. And the thing about taking things down on YouTube or whatever, I don't know if any of y'all know how like copyright strikes work on YouTube, but like generally if you're like a record label and someone's using a song that's owned by your record label, Content ID picks it up, alerts you to it, and you can demonetize it or put ads on it or take it down entirely if you are the controlling party of that. But for a fan cartoon, there isn't really anything for that. Like no conversation about this isn't going to bring up fair use. And honestly, fair use is a lot more complicated and a lot more in depth than I can fully comment on. But in short, fair use is kind of a blanket thing covering copyrighted material for using it for transformative purposes. So like parody, commentary, criticisms, like review, whatever, and doesn't require permission from the rights holder. And I would say most fan films firmly fall under this. And you have that as like a legal defense precedent, honestly. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but you have that as a precedent. And on YouTube specifically, which is honestly where fan films show up, you have that in place. Like, I think you're probably going to be fine.
Yeah, and it's another thing. A lot of the laws, at least in the United States, are built directly on selling your film or selling merchandise or selling all this stuff. It's not about just like making it and then asking for people to give you money.
Right. Yeah, because like if I made a Warhammer cartoon and I sold DVDs of it or whatever the fuck. And more importantly, what would cause problems was somebody liked their cartoon and then you start selling the rights to it. Say, oh, you want to make cartoons based off of my cartoon, which is my IP? Then yes, here are the rights to do so. Go ahead and do it. Like that's the kind of shit that Games Workshop is going to worry about. You making a cartoon and then saying, hey, I make this cartoon. If you like it, donate some money in my direction. Like that's nothing. Yeah. But if you're paying for an actual digital copy or physical copy or again, the rights to it, that is something else entirely. And yeah, I mean, I'll be straight up. I don't love this. Like, I don't like the agita of like, oh no, is this thing I make going to be, not give me a C&D or at least an angry email from Games Workshop or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't love that. But I also understand it's kind of the way the system is. And it's kind of like, y'all, this is just what we're stuck in. Unfortunately, we live in a society.
Well, that's the thing. Like, neither of us are particular, and we're going to get to this in the last part of this wading into the discourse segment. And then we were gonna do Crusade Focus Adeptus Sororitas, but we're gonna do that next episode because this episode is running way too long, and that's an editorial decision, Campbell. That right there. Fine. You didn't know it was happening, but I'm making it.
I've been surprised.
Neither one of us are fans really of Games Workshop, the corporation. And neither one of us are fans of multinational corporations in general. Right. But you gotta understand that like, as Campbell just said, we live in a fucking society, and there's things that work around us all the time. And when you get mad about something that just exists and doesn't really matter to anything, and then go screech on the internet for a while, like, it just makes you look ridiculous. Yeah,
because again, you're yelling about something you don't understand and getting very up in arms about something you don't understand.
And I'm sure there are listeners of our show that are thinking, well, wait a second, these content creators, I'm siding with them. This is, Games Workshop's an big evil corporation. We're like, yeah, man, it is. Yeah. And honestly, we want people to make these fun animations or these funny animations or these cool things. Like, we want people to make those. For me personally, it's not a really big part of my hobby, but I know that it is a big part of a lot of people's hobby, and I want people to enjoy the hobby. Yeah. But what it comes down to is that, like, there's a framework for creating this kind of stuff, and if you deviate from that, unfortunately, the law's on the corporation side.
Yeah,
that's the way this shit works. And again, we don't really like it. We don't really support this kind of shit, but that's just the way it fucking works. So when you're out there, like, oh, you're just discovering that a large multinational corporation is kind of a bastard sometimes. I don't know what to fucking tell you.
Yeah,
gang.
It feels almost like you're seeing a whole generation of nerds lose their innocence again. Like, companies are not your friends. People within them can be. You can love what they make, but companies exist to make money. It's not great. You're not going to do shit about it.
Let's take a quick diversion before we move on to a last part of this segment.
Friends, brothers, and sisters, I know that Brother Alphabusa asked to not launch An Crusade in his name, but remember that Emperor also stated he is not a god. We know better. Emperor expects, and I asked you to answer his call. Few people already proposed to write official complaint to GW about their recent IP policy without mentioning names of producers and artists. Just message of Byung worried about negative impact on whole fandom. Let them feel our wrath. Here is the link. complaints@gamesworkshop.com. I already wrote mine, and I demanded an answer. When I received it, I post it on our group. May the Emperor protect you.
Yeah, the worst part of this is the fucking role players like this asshole who are like, I don't know what they're. Why would you post this?
Just grab a tankard of mead, we whelp. Welcome to the Fang. Yeah, this shit. And also, it's displaying a critical misunderstanding of the Emperor. And like, yes, the Emperor stated he is not a god. And when people we know better, when people start worshiping the Emperor, that's when shit got bad.
Yeah, this is like, a lot of these Warhammer fans are perilously close to embracing fascism on like a regular basis on the internet, and like, it's a lot of people who just don't get it. It's like, no, the Imperium is really bad.
And again, like, Alphabusa asked not to do this, and he's a reasonable fella, and he asked you not to do this.
All right, so the last thing I want to talk about with this segment is a tweet thread. Sorry, a tweet thread from James Hewitt, who used to work for Games Workshop. He helped design Necromunda and
Titanicus, Silver Tower, Age of Sigmar. Like, dude is good at what he does.
Absolutely. And he talked about on Twitter how he had some unfair treatment at Games Workshop from their corporate headquarters, where he was, I believe, passed over for raises and did not get to do the work that he wanted to do because he had to take paternity leave.
Right.
I believe was what it boiled down to, and that he did not have a good relationship with some of his managers, which is to say that they were mistreating him in his eyes. Right. That hearing stories like that, you know, it's not good. It's not a good look for Games Workshop at all when a somewhat high-profile ex-employee is out there saying, hey, they did not treat me very well in these instances. Right. And that really sucks. It really does. I don't like to hear these things, but here's... And again, you know, it's similar to our last topic of conversation here. Like, this is what happens with large corporations. You get people who are close to the product, like James Hewitt, who's working on it, who's lovingly creating it and pouring his heart and soul into something. And then you have somebody above them, a middle manager, who the only thing they care about is their KPIs, their key performance indicators, right? And something like book sales or model sales or their budget or whatever. So they don't care about the experience of the people under them. They don't care about the experience of the customer. And they don't care about the quality of the product as long as their KPIs are getting met. And so they're still getting their bonuses. They're still getting their high salary. They're still getting whatever is going on. This is not just a feature of something like Games Workshop, though. This is a feature of every large, and even medium, and so, in some cases even small corporations or companies out there. This is middle management. Yep. This is what they do. I've been involved in union organizing for a long time, and there's always friction between workers and management, right? Because management doesn't care about, they don't have to care about the experience of the worker. They don't have to care about the experience of the customer. In most cases, the only thing that management has to care about is the experience of the shareholder, right? So, and Games Workshop is a publicly traded company. Right. So the people, and for those that don't know what that means, it's you can buy and sell shares of in the company of Games Workshop for, I don't know how much it is right now, but it's listed on the London Stock Exchange, I think, and that's what the value of the company is, right? And so you have these people that have either worked in management for Games Workshop for a long time or on the board of directors, and they have large amounts of stock in this company, right? And so they call the shots based on what the share price is. Now, in recent history, it has shown that if Games Workshop puts out good products and engages with customers and tries to make a holistic experience that is good and fun, it means growth in the company, growth for the share price, and they're doing things like opening whole brand new factories in Nottingham, and like all of that stuff is good. But at the end of the day, your managers, your people inside the company, they don't have to care about that. They have to care about the part that makes them look good, right? So what James Hewitt is talking about it's not like the cause of why Games Workshop is bad or something. It's a symptom of capitalism, and it's a symptom of corporations, and it's a symptom of bureaucracy. Because what is his manager responsible for? Is he responsible for James Hewitt's happiness? No. He's responsible for James Hewitt's production, right? So when James is talking about how it's expected of him to have a low salary and come in on weekends and work on stuff, like, that sucks. That's bad. That is an awful place to work. But that's capitalism, right? The answer to this problem for James Hewitt and the people that still work at Games Workshop is not very complex. It's extraordinarily hard, but it's not very complex. I would love if the people who wrote the games, who made the models, who did all the work, all the creation involved in Games Workshop, I would love to see them join a union so they can protect themselves and each other from the damage and the bad behavior from management. Like that, if you're interested in making a workplace better for workers, Unionization is the number one thing you can do to make it better. Right? It's the fucking meme, y'all. It's that meme, apes together strong. All right. That's what unions are. And if James Hewitt and he doesn't work at Games Workshop anymore, but the people that do,
he worked there, yeah.
If they could come together and start fighting for themselves as a group, this kind of shit wouldn't happen for them. Now, I mean, the UK has had a long history of breaking unions,
right.
and there are tons of ways that these large corporations go union busting, and a lot of places, if you even start talking about unions, they just fucking fire everybody. Over at God, what media outlet was it? I was reading about this literally today. It was some media outlet, some magazine, where the employees started talking about unionizing, and their editor-in-chief just fired all of them.
Yeah.
Something review. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm sorry, but this is a symptom of capitalism. All right. And and I'm sure our listeners are going to be real surprised that I am not a fan of this type of capitalism. And I'm pretty sure I can say the same for you.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bad story, and it's a bad look. But that's how it works, man.
Yeah, and a lot of the problems that you're describing are I won't say doubled, but compounded by working in the games industry. Because Games Workshop is far from the worst in the games industry. Like, since the stuff broke was also when like the Activision Blizzard shit broke.
Oh my God.
Where it's like, we're not going to wade into that one because that's out of our purview, but that shit's fucking monstrous.
I'll tell you, I had Activision Blizzard shares that I owned in my stock portfolio, and I fucking dumped them on that news because I was like, I am no longer I don't want to have anything to do with this company.
Yeah,
like,
damn right.
That sort of extremely toxic work environment, rife with misogyny and just awfulness. Like, I don't want anything to do with that. And like, if you hear this news about Games Workshop, and you say, I don't want anything to do with this company, I'm not going to support them, I'm not going to play their games, I'm not going to be involved with this anymore, fucking more power to you, gang. That's great. If this is the kind of thing that pushes your buttons enough that you're going to separate completely from this company, that's fine. That's great. Even, standing up, voting with your wallet or your feet or whatever, like that is something that I do a lot. It's something that the people I know do a lot. Like, and that is important. If it's important enough to you that you're going to do it, then I have nothing but support for you.
Right. Yeah, because I hate how hard these folks work, and they're paid poorly because games industry, and they're paid largely in passion, which is a sweet idea that is not sustainable. And passion don't pay the rent. Passion don't buy groceries. Passion don't clothe and house you. You should do a job that you like, but being paid basically in passion is a shit deal.
Yeah.
It's a great deal for the people who hold all the cards and not for you. If you do want to read James Hewitt's post, he actually did go more in depth in a Medium post about it. That's a bit more in depth than the Twitter thread.
Yeah,
and
we'll throw a link in there for in the description.
Yeah, we'll link that in the description, but it's about how I worked there from 2014 to 2017 and his problems with it. And I think I'll send off this segment. I want two ways to send off the segment.
Okay.
One, I'm going to send off with something that he said. And two, I'd love it if you rang that bell so I could say another awful thing, because I compiled so much garbage and inflicted so much psychic damage on myself over this month. You've hit that bell like 4 times.
No, I'm sorry. It's been a pretty good discussion.
I think that's the problem.
So do the Hewitt send off first, and then we can ring that bell.
Okay. Direct quote from his Medium post. The message here isn't Games Workshop bad, but rather publicly traded companies incentivize managers to pay their staff as little as they sensibly can because this is good for profit. And we should remember that Games Workshop is this kind of company and not some kind of magical unicorn factory.
Beautiful.
Definitely it is time to take the hobby back. GW is going to force you underground or pay the monthly fee. Do you believe you'll have the option to buy books with the latest rule changes? It is time to pull out your 7th edition books. All the FAQ are done, all the codex are out. There is no more codex creep and a plethora of different playstyles for every army. As the normies delete their channels out of fear of GW not liking us, ... we never cared. It is our time again. Time to double down on the community over GW. Incredible.
I hate Games Workshop so much, I'm going to go play 7th edition.
I'm going to go play 7th edition and befuddlingly Battletech, because that's a thing that's been getting some of this shit.
All right.
Oh, what a dumb time we live in.
Yeah. All right, gang. Well, let's wrap it up with a fact or fan fiction here, Campbell. What do you think?
I think that'd be a great idea. Somewhere in Beacon, every student and citizen in Beacon and Vale was terrifying. Grims, plural, came fast like a swarm. It was then until a portal appeared. Everyone saw it and came out a armor man, a wing girl with a mask, and a big green monster. Kyle the Blood Raven Space Marine got up. He looked around to see it was different. By the Emperor, where am I? Captain Bloodflag got up for round 2. All right, round. Huh? Bloodfang with Kyle was super confused. Elenwi got up to look around. It seems that this is a new world. You, where are my brothers? I don't know, but we have more trouble. The Kyle, Elenwe, and Bloodflag looked to see dark black bone monsters. What are these? Demons of chaos? No, it's different. I sense fear, hatred, and anger. Who care? More fights! Wag! Bloodflang then grab a bone-looking wolf and smash it with his hands. Ho 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 ho! They're running! Yeah, running to get help. We have no choice interrupts her. No, I don't want to work with a pointy git and a space marine killer. Well, I hate her, but I hate you the most. Yeah, whatever, Spice Marine. The ground then shake, and Kyle was holding and Bloodfang fall down. Hey, who did it? They'll pay. The mountains then shake and saw a big bone black dragon. By the Emperor, what is that? Oh, this'll be a nice fight-in. That thing will destroy the city and everyone in it. We have to work together, or we'll die too. Kyle and Bloodfang looked at each other and then looked back at Elenwe. Fine! Okay, let's go. Kyle, Elenwe, and Bloodfang then ran to the tower until a bunch of white robots came. Oh, more fighting, wag! Bloodfang charge at them and smash them into pieces. Kyle slash and shoots with his bolter pistol at Can chainsword. Elenwe was shooting her magic at them and slashed them with her spear. Well, we done it. Oh, I want more fighting. We will be. We must deal with that horrid beast. Kyle and Bloodfang then nod and ran to another path. They encounter another forces with masks on. Kyle just shoots them while Bloodfang smashed them with his chain axe. Elenwe then got one until his mask fell off. She saw the fear of the boy. Elenwe then let him go. Hey, Eldar, why did you let him go? Yeah, now you don't get fun. I have no intentions about this boy. I think he learned his lesson. Bloodfang then rampaged the area and ran into the cafeteria. Oh God, if that green skin is dead, I swear this is not my fault. Blake and Yang were wounded by the names of Adam as Adam was about to kill Blake. Bloodfang crashed through a wall and screamed, "Wag!"
What is happening?
Blake and Yang escape while Adam was angry. Oh, you green scum! Bloodfang then grab Adam's leg and smash him around. And there is a gif of the Hulk smashing Loki from the Avengers film. And a helpful legend that says Hulk equals Bloodfang, Loki equals Adam. And that is all of this particular piece I will read today.
What the fuck is this, like somebody's like friends inserted into what I can only think is a Dawn of War fan fiction? What's Dawn of War Retribution? Which one?
It's Retribution is the one with Blood Flag, not Bloodfang.
Yeah.
Because they spelled it differently half the time.
Yeah.
The Elenwe, the Eldar Frasier.
Yeah.
I don't know, and
these are all the characters from Retribution.
I don't think. Well, I guess the Space Marine Force Commander in Retribution is unnamed because I'm pretty sure his canon name isn't Kyle.
It's certainly not Kyle. But is Kyle the one who wrote this one?
It was written by this was Warhammer 40k Dawn of War, The Worlds in War by the Great Summoner.
Okay.
So yeah, let me just check
That was
their
painful.
profile.
That was honestly painful.
Good. I'm glad you thought so. Let's see. Hi, so I just want to make any crossover I just watch and played, and I hope you like my stories and crossovers and things that I love. I used to be Heisei Godzilla, so really a new adventure just began with stories and things I want to do. I don't own any but my OC characters.
Okay. Well, that was pretty fantastic. That's obviously fan fiction.
Yeah, that is fan fiction. I mean, I guess I gave that away by listing their name, The Great Summoner.
Yes.
I don't think that's going to be on the cover of any Black Library novel anytime soon.
Probably not.
But yeah, that's The Great Summoner. And by the way, fan fiction writers, Games Workshop is not going to come after your fan fiction. I've seen a post. Some people, like, I made the joke that someone was going to say first they came for the fan animators and I said nothing. And within 12 hours, fucking arch dipshit posted that exact thing genuinely.
Yeah.
We live in a society and it is terrible and we are all the friggin' Joker. So yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. It's been 2 hours.
Yeah, it's been a long one. I'm going to very quickly go through plugs, Campbell. We got social media, Twitter, at DB_sleazy, at Brother SRM. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/40k Badcast. We have a Patreon where you can sign up and support the show. We have multiple shows coming out this month for both the Bad Boy tier and the Fuck Boy tier. They're great. Torco Boca Raporco. It's a thing. You should listen to that. It's a lot of fun. That's patreon.com/40k Badcast. We have a shirt and sticker and apron store out there at Spreadshirt, and Campbell will give you the URL right now.
shop.spreadshirt.com/40k Badcast. You may as well make that a button on your console.
That's not a bad idea. And then finally, the best way to reach us is, of course, by email, contact@40kbadcast.com. If you want to send in questions for We Make the Call, or talk to us, or chat with us, or do whatever. Hey, we both read all the emails, and we love talking with y'all. We also love seeing pictures of models and pets, so feel free to send us those all the time. Okay, let's do a quote, as we always do. Not a sauce packet quote like we do in Torco Borco, but a Warhammer-esque quote that, Campbell, you have found for us and will give us right now.
Innocence proves nothing.
That's what the Games Workshop lawyers think, at least, isn't it?
Yeah. I picked the quote for reasons.
Thanks for sticking with us for this extra long episode 101 here. It's a blast to get back in the seat and talk with y'all again. We'll be back in hopefully 2 weeks, barring any more, big time life experiences here. Thanks for listening. As always, we love you. You're the best. We're bad at 40K. You can too. And Campbell, we'll see you in the next cartoon.